At the break of dawn on Thursday morning, the city of Minneapolis quietly sent a public works crew to George Floyd Square to begin taking down the barricades and reopening the intersection. After a year of what was advertised as healing and artistic tribute, but was more accurately a murder and crime free-for-all, with several more black lives taken at that site than just George Floyd himself. Names already forgotten of people ironically killed at a memorial, but never memorialized themselves. And that's because the square was always about symbolism, never practical results. Sure, it became a site of death and criminality, but it had a big black fist in the middle of it, which is all that really matters. And even though the city plans to keep that fist statue and bended knee to the mob, they're not trying to remove it. They're trying to build a roundabout around it. Any perceived action against that symbolism will be met with much more resistance than any actual crime committed at the site, up to and including murder of a pregnant lady, which actually happened and nobody talks about. And so as soon as crews removed those barriers and reopened the intersection on Thursday, activists began barricading it back up with cars and other handy debris readily available after a year of somehow honoring a man with a trash heap. And so the battle of city cleanup versus activist trashing has continued for a few days now, extending into Tuesday with a few holdouts bravely protecting the fist statue, even though the city has no plans to remove it. But it's never good enough. For the mob, there can never be any moving on. And that's only part of why Thursday was such an ironic day for the city of Minneapolis, not just because the mob refused to let this degeneracy encampment die, even after getting their demanded win in court, but because right on cue, there was a police shooting in Minneapolis, which means, what else? George Floyd anniversary rioting. And sure, it may have been a smaller turnout, but the band still played all the greatest hits, with the same support act from media allies. It was just protests that erupted in Minneapolis, with the same mostly peaceful background flames everyone loved at last summer's tour. As with the typical coverage, you gotta scroll down to the bottom paragraphs for the paragraphs that should actually be first. Police said some people vandalized buildings and stole from businesses after the shooting Thursday. 9 people were arrested on riot, assault, arson, and property damage charges. And as usual, it's not just police said. It's videos show. It's just that stories like this one opt not to show you. A heinous crime like this one needs swift mob justice against those responsible, like CVS and the liquor store. And I guess the activist livers must pay too. That's a lot of booze to break down. They swept these shelves pretty clean of bottles, but these are high-class drunks. They're reaching for the top shelf. It's not like they drink mouthwash. They leave that behind as a kind offering to those in the community with hygiene needs. And of course, such an occasion also means a flash sale on iPhones at T-Mobile. They used a human battering ram to break in, but don't worry, the leather's still tough on those freshly stolen kicks. And coronavirus masks have the added benefit of shielding your face from the glass shards. Check out this absolute clown car scraping their way back out through the broken window with their takings. I can't even count them all. And the why question is totally irrelevant. First of all, because even an innocent man actually getting a firing line execution by police doesn't justify this additional victimization of uninvolved neighborhood shops. But second, because these rioters don't even care who was killed by police. They don't even know the guy's name. They just know that they have an opportunity to steal a new phone and use it to post pictures of the bottle and the shoes that they also stole and still get away with all of it. But it's still interesting to entertain the ostensible reason for this chaos, so let's consider it. What is the great injustice that explains all the community hurt in this scene? Well, on Thursday, U.S. Marshals tracked and confronted Winston Boogie Smith in Minneapolis. A warrant was out for his arrest for being a felon in possession of a firearm. That's a violation of federal law. As far as his rap sheet, it's a decade and a half long, 20 arrests since 2007, but mostly minor traffic and drug issues, except for what's relevant to this case. A 2017 conviction for felony aggravated robbery. His sentencing was delayed and he was put on probation, but Among the terms of that probation, no possession of firearms. So it was a firearm issue on paper that caused the confrontation, but it was a firearm issue in person that ended it, at least according to the account of law enforcement. U.S. Marshals say they confronted Smith in his car on top of a parking garage. Marshals made an arrest attempt, but Smith did not comply and produced a handgun, resulting in police firing upon him and killing him at the scene. And Smith didn't just produce a handgun, he actually fired it as well. The Washington Post headline says there's no video evidence of such claims because U.S. Marshals don't wear body cams, but there is physical evidence. Again, scroll through the irrelevant paragraphs to get to the useful ones. According to a statement from the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, a handgun and spent cases were both recovered from inside Smith's vehicle. And maybe you think the investigators are liars. After all, the actual evidence isn't what's reported first. The fact that the family is calling for transparency is, implying there's some sort of cover-up. But even if we didn't have the direct evidence of the handgun and the spent cases, it's not hard to believe that this guy shot at police. Because this guy spent his time on social media advocating shooting at police. Less than 2 months ago, Smith was posting videos on Instagram calling for war and urging people to bring weapons against the police, firearms, explosives, or makeshift otherwise.
Let motherfuckers get ready for war. Get y'all mind right now. All the shooters, suit up. Lace your boots up. It's war fucking time. Bring your gun to the protest. Bring them fucking bombs and rocket launchers and all that shit y'all rap about. Go get y'all gasoline at y'all gas station. Stop going to the protests. Go to the gas station, get y'all gasoline. Go get some dish soap. If you scared, you don't got no gun, you don't need no gun. Go get some dish soap. Go get some glue. Go get some honey, some shit, some bleach, some shit that you can fucking throw at these fucks.
Hell, go get some mouthwash at CVS. It's on sale for 100% off right now, and there's still plenty of it. Now, if you're wondering, yes, he is driving his car with almost no attention paid to the road.
Fuck, I missed my whole destination. Talking. I see you, fucker. But, get ready for war, man. This shit is real.
And throughout this drive, it sounds like he's running over pedestrians, or maybe he drives on square wheels. Who knows? I know car repairs are tough after last year's AutoZone fire.
But this for the streets, though. But behind all that funny shit, we really in these streets. I'm really in these streets. That's why you see my face, not because I'm funny. I mean, it is because I'm funny, because I am funny.
Well, were funny. The funniest joke he ever wrote was his fantasy of having the necessary skill set. He tried, he was a terrible shot, and he died. That's what the investigation will show in short order. But hey, at least he died pursuing his dreams of murdering police officers. This is the sort of character for whom they march in the streets. This is the sort of character for whom the headlines cover and describe as just a father of three. This is the sort of character who will be portrayed as a victim, even though he spent many of his last breaths plotting the victimization of others. Hundreds of people marched to honor this guy, but if he'd been at home, actually taking care of his kids as the lenient terms of his probation freely allowed him to do, not a single person in that photo would care about him at all. No appreciation for good guys. Heroes honor for bad guys. Just like Winston Boogie Smith, society can't survive long with that sort of upside down philosophy. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Gab, that is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to coming out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Goodbye.